I got elected at the age of 28, and 15 months into my first term, the entire world shut down. And I was put in the position of making decisions on closing schools and reopening schools and vaccine mandates and mask mandates for the number one public school district in the state of California. And it got me thinking about something my friend Molly had told me when I was considering running, which is that policy is a placeholder for trust. It's the answer to how we choose our elected representatives. I think that the single most important barometer for a candidate for elected office is not what they have done in the past. It is not what their qualifications are. It is what will they do when faced with the impossible to predict situation, the unprecedented thing that happens. That, because of Murphy's Law, is going to happen shortly after they take office. How do we account for that? All we can do is trust that the person we choose is going to make the decision that most aligns with our values that we're going to feel is the right decision. But most people don't have the opportunity to interact with their candidates in any meaningful way to build that trust. So we default to policy. What does that person say about what they believe in? And does it overlap enough with what I believe in such that I can kind of predict that if there is some impossible situation, they are likely to decide in a way that I would decide in that situation or feel is right? It is not a super sciencey way of choosing. It's a very human way. Trust is an insanely complex analytical process that is so deeply rooted in human evolution and our subconscious so as to be both incredibly precise and broad in its inputs and also very confidently incorrect. But it's all we have. And it is why people are going to hate this. I would have a beer with the person is not the worst metric for choosing your leader. It's not the best metric, but all things being equal in a field of competent candidates, I like the person, not a bad way to choose. It is not that much better than relying on pre-drafted, pre-tested policy platforms that were created by a team for the sole purpose of getting the most votes. It is certainly no better than relying on a 200-word statement in the voter guide that was written by the candidate for the express purpose of appealing to the broadest possible audience. These are all placeholders for, can we put our trust in the person to make the decision we think is going to be right when the thing happens that we can't predict? And that's why, again, all things being equal, it often comes down to two things, whether someone wins an election. Are they the most likable person in the field? Or are they the least unlikable person in the field? And again, it's not a bad thing because that's just the human way to choose.